Hello everyone, my name is Ashley Kaltwasser and today I'm going to show you my top 10 favorite exercises for building the glutes, so stay tuned. So my first exercise on this list is the concentrated curtsy lunge. Now, my favorite glute exercises vary over the years, but honestly, the concentrated curtsy lunge has been a staple in my workouts for years and I love it so much. I really feel it in that upper outer glute area. I love it because it's a unilateral movement, which means a single arm or single leg, which means I'm getting even more volume in my workout. And the fact that it's a concentrated curtsy lunge rather than an alternating curtsy lunge is great because that way I can really eliminate the rest time in between each rep, right? So more time under tension, the better. The second exercise on my list is the donkey kick. And this can also be done on the glute blaster machine, but I've really found that I love it so much on the hamstring curl machine. And I really like to focus on squeezing up at the top and really letting the weight descend slowly. So it's all about the descend and not just letting the weight just fall down. You can get it a little extra out of this exercise if you just let the weight descend very slowly. It's one of those exercises that's probably gonna take you a little bit longer to do rather than the other exercises if you do it the correct way by focusing on descending very slowly and squeezing up at the top. So it's one of those exercises that you really gotta concentrate on and focus. So using that mind to muscle connection is key here. Glute bridges and hip thrust. So I call these kind of the same thing. They're a little bit interchangeable. I know different people have different names for these exercises, but you get the gist. It's probably the most common exercise we think of when we think of glute exercises. And you can vary this exercise by adding a band around your knees and also doing pulse reps at the top for your last 5 reps or whatever. Next up, we have glute-focused hyperextensions. Now, with this, it's important that we're not spending too much time at the bottom resting, and we're always keeping that time under tension. See, I'm saying that phrase again, time under tension. So make sure you're really squeezing up at the top and really focusing on your glutes, because this can easily become a lower back exercise if we're not careful. So really concentrate on contracting your glute muscles, squeezing up at the top. And now we have reverse hyperextensions. So you'll find that it's about the same wording here. Make sure you squeeze up at the top. You can use a band around your knees and make sure you're descending very slowly on this exercise as well. This exercise is great for that upper outer glute area. Make sure when you're doing this exercise, you're really focusing on separating your knees, pushing your knees out while you do this exercise to get that extra little bit of squeeze. Bulgarian split squats. So this is another burner for you guys. Now for this exercise, I find that it's helpful to really concentrate again on going kind of slow and very intentional with the movement. And it's a unilateral exercise again. You'll find that there's a lot of unilateral exercises in this list. I love them. But with this, make sure you're really squeezing your glute, push through the heels, and make sure your knee isn't wobbling inward or outward. Single leg RDL. So I like the single legs much more than the traditional double leg because I feel like I can really feel that stretch so much more when I do just a single leg. And as you'll see here, I do it a little bit differently than most people. I use my back leg for balance to stabilize because I find that if you don't and just let that back leg go up, it's more of a balancing exercise than feeling it deep within the hamstring and glute. So what I just said there, hamstring and glute, you'll see that some of these exercises also engage a little bit of hamstring. Some of them even engage a little bit of quad, and that's perfectly okay. You'll find that a lot of the glute exercises, no matter what list it's on, will do the same if it is a compound movement, right? So with this exercise, make sure that you're keeping the weight close to your feet and not letting it come out too far in front of you, and make sure that your back isn't rounding. That's super important. We need to make sure that we're not potentially causing any injury here. cable glute kickbacks. Now this is another exercise I'm sure you've seen many places. I'm sure you've done it before. Now with this exercise, I really like to make sure that my foot doesn't really touch the ground, because every time you let that foot go back to that position that it started in, it's getting a little bit of rest. So to increase that time under tension, we're making sure that we're not letting that foot come all the way down. Rather, we're really focusing on that upper half movement of the exercise. So sumo squats. All right, so I like to do this in between two benches. You can also do this in between two platforms, but basically just make sure you're keeping your back nice and straight. You're not rounding. We don't want to cause any injury, and make sure you're squeezing throughout this whole rep range. And next we have deep single leg press. So with this, it's a great exercise to do to balance out the muscles, right? Again, a unilateral exercise, great for injury prevention, great for balancing out the muscles. We're all a little bit uneven, no one's perfect. So this is really helpful to kind of, even things out a bit, and thus becoming stronger overall. So on this exercise, I make sure that I'm really pushing up at the top, really squeezing my glute throughout. And last, we have abductions. Now, ideally, you would do these on an abduction machine, but we don't have one currently at the gym here, not for a few months anyway. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna use a band just a little bit above my knees and really squeeze and go as far out with my knees as I possibly can, okay? And with this, you can actually superset this into your other exercises as well. For example, I like to superset abductions within my glute bridges when I work out. So I think it's perfect for that. And you can also keep that band on while you do glute bridges as well. So yeah, hopefully this video was helpful, and let me know what your favorite glute exercise is in the comment section below.